folks, I have a little surprise for you today. Today we're going to look at the Lawmate RD30 Personal Space RF Bug Detector. Now I'm not going to do a full unboxing. I've already opened it, but I wanted to show you. It comes in a nice little baggie here. We'll set that off to the side. It does have a user manual or a pamphlet, if you will, that will help you get going started with it. But I'm going to actually walk through the RD30, and this is the little booger right here. I'm going to walk through how to do a thorough bug sweep with the Lawmate RD30, so just hang on. And it also comes with 6, there's only 3 in there right now because I put 3 in here, but 6 batteries. This runs on AA batteries, but these aren't cheap batteries that it comes with. It actually comes with Rayovac batteries. So let's get started. Now if you look here on my desk, I have an actual collection of actual spy gadgets. These are real recording devices, cameras, things like that. And we're going to see how the RD30 can detect each one of these devices. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. So really quick, let's go over the functionality for the RD30. As you can see, I'm going to try to get you a close-up shot there. There is a lot of different functionality on here. There are multiple switches over here on the side. I'm going to go through each one of those as we go through all of this. We're going to first start with the wireless detection and how it can look for things that are transmitting an actual radio frequency. So as you see there, that's going to be with the middle switch. There's off, wireless, and wired. So we're going to move that middle switch to the wireless position. After we've moved that, you'll see down here, there's low sensitivity and high sensitivity. Once we turn that on to low sensitivity or high sensitivity with the wireless on, we'll have turned on the device. So there it is, it's on high sensitivity, and as you can see by the indicator there, it is flashing all kinds of lights and it's picking up all kinds of signals. There's also an antenna right here. I'll pull that up and there is an antenna there. But it's on high sensitivity, and I have all kinds of Wi-Fi going on in here. In fact, I have one of my mesh routers right over in the other side of the room, so it's going to pick that up. Let's switch it over to low sensitivity. So now it's on low sensitivity. If you look there on this bottom switch, it's switched over to low sensitivity. So it's not picking up any kind of a signal right now. But if I get it close to my cell phone, which is going to have a signal, because it's in low sensitivity, it's actually going to pick up transmissions from the cell phone. So one of the things with this, if you're going to use it, if you're going to have it in high sensitivity, you'd want to be in a fairly clean environment. If you're in a house where you can make sure everything is turned off, that's going to be transmitting a signal. You turn off your internet, turn off your cell phone, turn off any Bluetooth devices, anything like these, get them turned off. Then you can use it in high sensitivity and you can sweep the area. Most of the time though, I would suggest you're going to have it in low sensitivity, because then what you're going to be doing is a near field sweep of things. So things are going to have to be fairly close to it. So you're not going to pick up the neighbor's router either or anything like that in the low sensitivity range. Okay, so the first device we're going to take a look at is this. This is a Wi-Fi smoke detector. It is a Wi-Fi camera. It's got a camera down here in the bottom that you can see. You can see the flashing light, and that's on because it hasn't connected with a device. If I got the program up on my phone and connected it, then I would be able to turn that off. You can turn the Wi-Fi off on this type of a camera, and I have a USB cord going into it, but you can have it hot wired in to a power system or have a battery backup or something like that in a device like this, and just keep it on all the time. And you can have that Wi-Fi turned off so it's just recording all the time. It can record on motion, or you can have the Wi-Fi on and you can be connected somewhere else and actually be watching it. But I have that Wi-Fi turned on because I want to show how the RD30 connects to it or detects it when it gets close. And it doesn't hit all of a sudden. So you can see right there, and you can probably hear it. It's motioning or it's vibrating, and the lights are going on saying that it found a Wi-Fi. And the reason it doesn't hit all the time is because this isn't connected to something and transmitting all the time. Right now it's waiting for something to connect to it. But if I get further away, it stops detecting it. See, it doesn't detect anything here. But if I was sweeping and I was suspicious of this device, I could get over here and get near it, and then it's going to tell me, hey, there is a Wi-Fi signal coming out of this particular device. Now here is another gadget. It's a little clock. It's just like a travel alarm clock. You can get these types of devices all over on the internet. They can be bigger than this, smaller than this. They can look like the old ones, the new ones, everything like that. But this one actually has a camera in it. It does not have Wi-Fi. You can get them Wi-Fi enabled. But I wanted to show you something. If you go over here on the side here and you take that middle one and you push it down, it's going to go to the wired section. There was the wireless and the wired. Now we're on the wired section. We're going to put the antenna in. We don't need that. There's this little area up here on the back. This is the wire detector. And this is something that really sets the Lawmate RD30 above everything else out there. Not to mention a lot of the other things, but this is something that really sets above. When it gets close to something with an active recording device like a camera, it will start alerting to us. So I have it on the vibrate here, and we're going to bring this up and we're going to scan. And you'll see right there, it's showing that there is a camera right there. If I scan over, it's not. But the camera is right over here. And that is pretty amazing. This is very similar to what a nonlinear junction detector would do. So if you go into a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that, and you want to know, does your alarm clock have a camera in it? Because you can't see it in there. You can't see it. I can look. I don't see a camera in there. If I shine a flashlight, I might be able to see it because I have a trained eye and I look for these things. But if I just take this and I put it up there, there's a camera right there. Now we're going to do another quick test. We're going to unplug this so it has no power. And then we're going to scan it. And now you notice there's nothing there because the camera isn't working. Not only did this pick up in the detection area that there was a camera, but it picked up a working camera. Because if it's not working, it's not that big of a deal. I suppose they can turn them on and off and things like that. But it will detect a working camera. This is really, really amazing for me to find out that they now have this feature in that. And I absolutely love this device. Now let's try another test. So now we're going to get our smoke detector again, remember? It's charged up. I had it plugged in and the battery's running now. And that battery on something like this can last for days on some of these models. But we're going to run this across, and you see right there where the camera is, when I start getting close, boom, it starts hitting on that. I pull it away, it stops. I bring it up, it's hitting on that. And it's on the wired setting, not the Wi-Fi setting. That is this detection area that is identifying a camera in there. Absolutely phenomenal. And you can go out and you can buy all the cheap ones you want on Amazon or eBay or whatever. They're not going to have anything like this. Now if I go back and I go over here on the side and I put it back to wireless, it's going to be in wireless, but then I'm going to take this this top 3 set one right here and I'm going to move it to blink. What it's going to do is it's going to blink this infrared light. And that is going to help us look and see if we can find a physical camera with our eyes. Now what I can do with this is I can look through it and I can scan a room and I can get up close to things and I can see if there's a camera. Or I could take a device like this and I can look and I can say, is there a camera on there anywhere? And once it sees the camera, it's going to start flashing a little silver light on it. And if you... I don't know if I can do this so you can see it without blinding myself completely, but we're going to try to let the camera look through there. But if you can see right there, there's a little flashing silver light on there. That's the actual camera. So when you do that with any of these things, you'll find that camera. Except, like I said, with this alarm clock one, because of the shielding they have on there, I could shine this light on there till I'm blue in the face and I'm not going to see that camera because it's shielded, it's protected. It can't always be found. Now if I got a bright enough flashlight, I know I can shine it in there and I would see the little hole where the camera is. And a lot of the cheap devices have things like this. The difference being is, one is the brightness of this and the array that they put in, but this also has an on. So I can just scan with it on. I don't have to scan with it blinking. If that blinking gets to bothering you or something like that, you can actually turn it to that too. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the wired. I'm going to leave it on the low sensitivity. So on the wired, remember we're using this part right here. So I'm going to see if it detects on this. Now it does detect on this in certain areas. I can feel the vibration there, and you can start to see it. It's not as strong, but it does detect. If I turn the sensitivity up to high, and then I look, then of course it's going to penetrate a lot more, and it's going to see it a lot more. So now I'm going to turn it over to the wired, and I'm going to leave it for right now on the low sensitivity. So I'm on the wired and the low sensitivity on here. So we're going to be using this detector right here, and we're going to see if it actually detects it on the low. Now when I was on the other devices, I was on low sensitivity. So it did detect it a little bit there, it's detecting it a little bit there. But if I turn that power up, if I turn that up to high sensitivity, again, this is not on the wireless, it's on the wired setting on there. So I'm using this back here to look for any kind of a video recorder. When I start getting in there, you'll start to see that it picks it up quite a bit. There it goes. It goes quite a bit on there. It's hard to get it on the screen and everything for you. But that is absolutely amazing what that does. So here's something else that you can do with the RD30. You can turn it on to your wireless mode. You can turn on your sensitivity. If you're supposed to be in a very clean environment, turn it on to high sensitivity. In here, you don't want to necessarily do that because I have all the Wi-Fi going on. But I could turn it on to high sensitivity if I'm supposed to be in an area where the signals are clean. And then I have this button right here on the vibrate. So it's either, if it's up, then you just get light indicators. If it's down, though, then it's on the vibrate mode. So then I can carry this in a pocket or my pocket down here. And if there's a radio signal somewhere, I'm going to feel it vibrating. It's going to tell me there's a signal. It's not going to exactly tell me where, but it does have that covert capability, which is really nice too. Now let me tell you a few things of the pros and the cons and how I feel about that. I have tried a lot of these cheap ones. I've got one right here. It's the K68. It's quite a bit larger than this. This is a cheap one that I bought just to test out. I'll tell you what, I've tried to play with it about, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and the battery's dead in it already. And I've tried the K16 and the K18 and all kinds of models, and none of them have done very good. The nice thing with this one was it came with a magnet detector on it too. Really though, kind of a pain to hook it up and disconnect it and connect it and all of those things. But it had the magnet detector on it with a light. That was kind of nice for finding things like GPS trackers like this. And by the way, the RD30 will detect GPS when it does its little blip. You have to remember with GPS is, unless the vehicle is moving or the tracker is moving, it's not always transmitting. And even if it's moving, it may not always be transmitting. Some of them only do it periodically every 5 minutes or every 15 minutes, something like that. So if it's not moving, you're not going to get any signal, but you might get a heartbeat, and that heartbeat could be every 30 seconds, 45 seconds, every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes. So you'd have to have a device that's close to it that'll pick it up. The RD30 will do that if it's close. Again, if you're in a garage or outside, there's no radio signals, you can put it on that high sensitivity and you can just leave it sit and you can wait and see if it picks up that heartbeat once in a while. Now on this one, again, the battery went dead on me. It's a rechargeable, and rechargeables have pluses and they have minuses because like this one's a rechargeable. Battery's no good after a few times. I don't know if it overcharged or what, but it doesn't work well for me. It doesn't work hardly at all for me anymore. And it has a separate antenna, so you have to put the antenna on, then take the antenna off, and then put the other one on and put the other one off. That's probably one of the nice things with the RD30 because it has, right back here, I open it up, and it has that place for the 3 AAA batteries. And it comes with 6 of them to start you off. And not many things come with the batteries. And when you first turn it on, there's that blue indicator light. I think you can see that there. That tells you that it's on and it's powered. If the batteries are low, that might come on and then go off. That's an indicator that the battery's off. I would always recommend just keep a set of extra batteries with you. Heavy duty plastic. It doesn't feel like anything's going to break on it. I've never had any problems with this. Probably if I had to put cons to it, and I have to put cons to everything, right? I would say the antenna, I would like the antenna to be a little beefier. It just feels like I could bend it really easy. You have to be very careful. Now, I am always careful when I do pull this out and I use it. And I'll tell you how I use this with my bug sweeps in a second here. Another con is not having a rechargeable battery, but not having a rechargeable battery that's going to eventually not be able to recharge is actually a plus because it takes those batteries. I take the batteries out of any of my devices when they're not in use for a very long period of time. So it does not have the magnetic detector, but what I use for my magnetic detector is this device. And if you go to my website, freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com, up in the top right, click on the PI gear and then click on bug sweep equipment. I'll have all my stuff up there, but this is a magnetic detector. And this is what we use primarily to find a lot of GPS units. Because I can just hold this little button, it's off, and when it gets close to a magnet, you see when it gets close to a magnet, that blue light comes on. So I know that there's a magnet somewhere nearby. It's very good, it's very easy. It does run on a battery, but that battery runs forever and ever and ever. Now, another con, and it's not a deal breaker for me because I've sold a lot of these, but it's the manual. It is a good manual. It does get you up and running, and for the most part you can read it, but it does have a lot of that somebody translated it from another language aspects to it. So I would like to have had something for a manual for it to be a little heftier, a little more instructive. I tried to find some things online and I didn't find anything that really showed step by step, and that's kind of why I'm trying to make this video too, to be able to give people a way to be able to use it. But it's definitely not a deal breaker. I have been using LawMate products for a long time, and if you go to my website again, freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com, click on the PI gear up in the top right menu, and you can go there and you can see all the equipment that I use myself, plus you can see all the LawMate equipment. I am a LawMate reseller, and you can get this right now on sale at my website. So you can go there, go under the bug sweep category, and you can see the RD30. Are they more expensive than those cheap ones? Yeah, they are, but they're well worth it. LawMate makes a really, really good product. I have heard of these things lasting for years and years and years. And this is how good they are. The last few that I've ordered have been back ordered. So if you do order one, you'll get it, but it might take a week or two just because they're flying off the shelf. They're going out the door really fast. But if you want to take a look at it there, you can get all the specs on it and things like that. But that is the RD30. When I saw it for the first time, how it picked up these cameras and things like that, that really, truly amazed me. Now, I told you that I would tell you how I use the LawMate RD30 when I'm doing bug sweeps. A big part of it is that wired section, being able to turn that on and look for devices. Sometimes I'll get clients that will be like, I am sure there is something in this or something in that or something in the other. And I can pull out one of these other devices and I can show them that this will find it. I also love the infrared camera detector that you look through. When you're looking through this, the big difference between this and the cheap models is the spectrum of angle, if you will, where that has to be lined up. When I'm looking at this, it's a fairly wide spectrum. On those cheap ones, you have to be almost straight on. Well, that camera is 12 feet up in an industrial area or 7-8 foot up in an apartment or a hotel room or something like that. You may not see it. You may look, you can see the object up there, you can see the area, but you're not going to see the flash because of the way the directional lights are flashing. So that makes this a really, really big plus as well. Plus, I like to use it from the standpoint of putting it on the wireless, put it on the low sensitivity, and here's a trick for you. You can leave that antenna in there. Put it on wireless, put it on low sensitivity, and now you can use it as what I call a sniffing device. So I can get up underneath places, and if I want, I can pull that antenna out a little bit, but I can get up under places, and we use it as what we call a sniffer or a locator to get into areas, which is really good. And then another way that I use it is to put it on that high sensitivity on the wireless. And now my antenna's in, so you can see it's still detecting because I have my Wi-Fi going there. But I can have it on that high sensitivity, and I can just use it and listen to see if there's a burst going on somewhere, like a GPS unit or something like that that's going off. If I carry this to every room that I'm going and I have it on that, and I'm not getting any regular signals, then it's kind of like a little spectrum analyzer for me. It's not going to tell me what the signal bandwidth is or anything like that, but it's going to tell me if I hear all of a sudden that it's buzzing, I know that something's going on and it's picking up a signal. I wouldn't recommend this for a private investigator to buy and say, okay, now I do TSCM sweeps, because one, if you're taking this out all the time, you're going to wear it out, you're going to break that antenna, something's going to happen. It doesn't matter what device you buy. Those cheaper ones, you're going to mess up. And it's nothing compared to the Andre, the advanced near-field detection receiver that we use as professional sweep. But if you're using it to check your hotel room, check your Airbnb, that's great. You can get that out. You can turn it on that low sensitivity, so you're looking in the near field. You're looking for things close to you. You don't want to pick up the guy's cell phone in the hotel room next to you. And then you can just sweep areas like this. You're just going to sweep them. And you're going to have that vibration on, and you're going to see if you're going to get anything. And you can sweep across a wall. Now here's a key. This is a big key to bug sweeps. You see this wall behind me. There's no cameras. There's nothing pointing there. If I get next to that wall and I start getting a signal, there's nothing there. If I don't see anything there, there's nothing there. A lot of times people will buy something like this, or even the cheap models, and that's what happens is they will start playing with that sensitivity until they make it beep. And that's one of the nice things with this one, with the sensitivity settings. So they get next to a wall and they say, well, there must be something in the wall, but I can't find it. I tore my wall apart, or I drilled holes in it, or whatever. And the basic logic is, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. You need to trust your eyes at that point. Now, if you're sweeping around something like this plant and it says there's something and you can't find it, what you can do is take this plant out. And then you can sweep this area and see if you still get a signal. If you don't, then it was something to do with that plant. You can sweep that plant over there. But what you can do is just leave it out. Get it out. Get it out of your way. Hide it in a closet or do whatever, but don't have it around just in case. But if you use this lens detector, then you can start to find that. Or you can use the detector area back here, that wired detector, and you can start to see if there's actually something there. A lot of times, and I don't care what devices you have, whether it's the cheap ones, whether it's a little more expensive like a Lawmate, or even with a very expensive piece of equipment like the Andre, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on RF detectors, and you are always going to get false positives, always. Because there are radio signals bouncing around us all right now, thousands of them right now, around you, around me, all of us. And it's very easy for these to pick up a reflected signal off of something. So when you get any of these, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. If you're scanning an area and you don't see it, then it's not there, okay? I hope that helps. Again, if you want, go to freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com and you can get all the specs and you get more information. You can pick up one of these from Lawmate. From me, I am a reseller for the Lawmate products. I appreciate it. Thank you.